الذين ينقضون عهد الله من بعد ميثاقه ويقطعون ما أمر الله به أن يوصل ويفسدون في الأرض أولئك هم الخاسرون.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد صلى الله عليه wasallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. I give thanks to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. I beseech His mercies and blessings upon the best of mankind, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his companion, and all the Muslims that tread his path until the day of reckoning. Amen. Dear viewers, I greet us in the most honorable way of greeting, saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Kareem. We want to greet ourselves for this month of blessing, month of barakah, month of sadaqah, month of good deeds. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us opportunity to witness this Ramadan till the end, and as well as spare our life to witness more and more of it. And may He accept all our act of ibadah as worship. And on the day of Qiyamah, may He fulfill His promise on each and every one of us. Amen. Today is another episode of our program, The Mandates, from the Muslim Women Organization, the Believing Women, Al-Muminat. Today we'll be talking about the concept of modesty in Islam. Sisters in Islam, what is modesty? What does Islam say about this topic? Modesty is nothing but self-respect, honor, dignity, and of course, a way of life that Islam has imposed on mankind, especially those of us that are Muslims. Modesty is part of our faith. In fact, Prophet Sallallahu was reported to have said that he has not sent to this world except to come and perfect morals. It is a quality that keeps a person from committing sinful acts. When you hear modesty, we're talking about avoiding sin, no matter how small it is. Then, apart from that, modesty gives honor and respect to Muslims in the society. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created man on fitrah. That is a natural disposition that is inclined towards right action and submission to Allah. Every soul out there knows what is good and what is bad. But because of human incapability to control the soul, or because we are far from the words of Allah, today we are far from this modesty we are talking about, this quality that Prophet ﷺ encouraged us to have. As a Muslim, we have to know that modesty is part of our deen and it is part of our belief. In fact, modesty helps in our spiritual development and our closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether in or out of the soul. Inner modesty, we're talking about reflection of our behavior, our speech, and disposition anywhere we are, whether in our homes, at work, outside in the society. Our behavior and our disposition, the way we talk, our speech, shows how modest, shows the level of our faith and understanding of Islam. Then our dressing, our appearance, this is an outer modest, shows the level of our understanding of this deen. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, if you look at Quran, Surah An-Nur, verse 24, Quran 24, verse 30, Allah was talking to the male. Allah says, and say to the believing men that they should lower their gaze and guide their modesty. That will make for greater purity for them. And Allah is well acquainted with all that they do. In the next verse, which is 31, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and say to the believing women that they should lower their gaze and guide their modesty, that they should not display their beauty and ornament except what appear thereof, that they should draw their veil over their bosom and not display their beauty. Quran 24 verse 31. These two verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stress the word modesty there. And this is talking about addressing our appearance. The first part of those verses is lowering of gaze, gazing. To some of us, we might feel it doesn't have any issue. We don't have issue with looking at ourselves. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows us. He is our creator. He knows where immorality starts from. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts from that aspect of lowering the gaze. And aside that, to guide our chastity as a woman, our modesty, Allah stressed that point. So that we should not display our ornaments and our beauty in the society. Today, we all use hijab. Yes, hijab is common. Unlike those days, that people feel hijab is alien in the society. Hijab has become part of the society now. But what type of hijab are we using? How do we dress? Is it the one that will put on and still do some makeup? To some sisters, they feel, it's just a light makeup. No, it is not part of it. Look at this verse very well and let us study it. Allah said we should not display our beauty. In this verse, we understand that hijab has come to cover our beauty. It is a garment we wear outside. As a Muslim woman, you can dress to kill your husband within the corner of your apartment. Do anything you like. Nobody is there to see you. But the moment you are going out, you have to cover everything. Those beauty you are using to entice your husband, you have to cover it outside. So that we will not cause chaos in the society. There won't be problem. If you look at our society today, we'll see there are a lot of sexual promiscuous. It is caused by female, generally by ladies. Because most of the time we dress to kill. Even as an hijabi, we dress to kill. The type of dressing we are putting on, let us look into it. Modesty starts from our appearance, our speech, our utterances. So that people will respect us. They will know this is a Muslim woman. Apart from this, in another verse of the Quran, Surah Al-Araf, Quran 7 verse 26, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, O children of Adam, we have bestowed upon you clothing to conceal your private parts and adornment. But the clothing of righteousness, that is the best. That is from the sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that perhaps they will remember. In this verse, Allah stresses dressing to guide your chastity, dressing to be modest, dressing to be respected, yes. Then apart from that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said the best of clothing is that of righteousness. Sisters in Islam, we're talking of modesty. Modesty in speech and disposition. It starts from our spiritual development. This is the month of Ramadan. How do we relate with our Quran? How do we relate with our Nawafil? Fasting is not about keeping away from food and drink. all the part of our body must fast. As a Muslim woman, you are not expected to talk when it is not necessary. When you are to talk, you talk normally. You don't talk to entice men around you. You don't talk because I want people to notice I am there. I'm a Muslim woman, I have to talk. They should know that I'm on ground. No. So we have to consider all these points so that will be a personality, an ideal personality. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the garment of righteousness is the best of all garments. And that is why we have to consider our being upright Muslim. What is the standard? My Quran recitation, any little time I have, I want to relate with the Quran. This is the month of Quran. I want to interact with my Quran. Even if I don't know how to recite, I'll try my best. I'll get somebody around to teach me. Apart from reading the English meaning, the translation, understanding the words of the Quran is very important now. Sometimes if you don't have opportunity to do that, I'll say, why don't we attend tafsir? In this month, there are a lot of tafsir in the society. Let us try to attend and listen to the words of Allah. And as we are listening, let's imbibe and make use of it. It's very important.
وقل للمؤمنات يغضضن من أبصارهن ويحفظن فروجهن ولا يبدين زينتهن إلا ما ظهر منها وليضربن بخمرهن على جيوبهن ولا يبدين زينتهن إلا لبعولتهن أو آباء بعولتهن أو أبنائهن أو أبناء بعولتهن أو إخوانهن أو بني إخوانهن أو بني أخواتهن أو نسائهن أو ما ملكت أيمانهن أو التابعين غير أولي الإربة من الرجال أو الطفل الذين لم يظهروا على عورات النساء ولا يضربن بأرجلهن ليعلم ما يخفين من زينتهن وتوبوا إلى الله جميعا أيها المؤمنون لعلكم تفلحون.
Apart from that, our tahajjud. This is the month Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has opened the door of paradise. He has opened the door of Rahman. Allah says, ask, I will give. Now let us use this month as an opportunity to seek from Allah all our needs. Prayer every time, askar. How many askar have we done in this month and these days? We should all go around with our rosary, our tesbah. Do your tesbah as much as possible. Modesty. Allah said the best of garment is that of righteousness. Doing good to others. Giving good advice. It's part of modesty. And aside this, our social media. What do we learn in the social media? How do we relate with it? It's a very good opportunity to propagate the deen of Allah. But today, a lot of us has misused that opportunity. You go there on Facebook, we read a lot of stories that doesn't have any impact in our lives. As a Muslim woman, this is the opportunity for us. We can do a lot of research on Islamic issues that are not clear to us. what you need to look for is those scholars that refer to the Quran and Hadith, that makes the Quran and Hadith as their references. So I think these are areas that we need to look into. It is not that we use the social media for any sexual promiscuous or looking at pictures that are not, that are immoral. So as a Muslim woman that is modest, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that the best of modesty, the best of garment is that of righteousness. Then going back to our speech, it is very good, like Prophet ﷺ said, if you have nothing to say, why don't we keep quiet? It's better to keep quiet and continue with our askar when it is not necessary to talk. Because whatever we say will be on record. Now we are fasting. We know ourselves. Talking about issues that are of no concern, of no importance. This is the month of Ramadan. And like we say, Ramadan is a month of training. It has come to train us the way we are going to live our lives. So it is not the question of going back to those vices after Ramadan, no. But it is something that should continue even after Ramadan. The way we are doing now in the month of Ramadan should be what we'll be doing after Ramadan. So modesty is something that has to promote our spiritual development. It is something that brings us closer to Allah. Apart from this, there are many vices around that we should feel ashamed as a Muslim, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has cautioned us in that verse of the Quran that as a Muslim we need to dress properly and we have to comport ourselves outside. Today, like I said, a lot of us, yes, we use hijab, but how do we use the hijab? Hijab that we are using, we need to seek knowledge about it. There are some qualities it must have. Then the hijabi herself must portray some quality, like dignifying herself, knowing that she's not just a woman, but a Muslim woman, a special woman around. So for you to use hijab, you have an identity. It is something very important and everybody attached to you. And that is why in the society today, when others are committing blunders, they are committing errors, nobody sees it. But immediately a Muslim woman does it, people are so concerned. They'll say, you call yourself Elijah, and you are a Muslim woman, and you are an hijabite. Such are words of people in the society. And the reason being that everybody is expecting modesty from a woman that covers. Because before we can do that, before we can use the hijab, there are some level of understanding that is expected from us. We need to have comprehensive understanding of this hijab before we start using it. What are the limitations? What are the do's and don'ts? What did Allah say about it? Allah said the first thing is lowering of gaze, inner hijab. And that is why it will be difficult for somebody that understands the concept of this modesty, that verse of Quran. It will be difficult for such a person to intermingle with opposite sex, because you had already understand that lowering of gaze is the first thing, is a step towards hijab. But today we find out that the other way around is the case. People use hijab fine, but you see them outside, what they are doing and what they portray is opposite the hijab they are using. And that is why you see an hijab sister doing all sorts of things that you are not expecting. Because the modesty is not there. The understanding of hijab has been lost. So it is not about dressing now. It's about understanding what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. And so that this, by doing that, we will earn Allah's reward. Don't forget, whatever we do in Islam, We don't understand that Islam is a way of life. And whatever we do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us. Even in our utterances, Allah says it is better for us to say the truth and what is good than to say what is evil. So whenever we say what is good and truth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue to write it in our record and we will earn His reward. And any time we do the other way around, we'll have the punishment. So the same thing, our disposition, our appearance. Whenever we appear with modesty, whenever we appear in our hijab, dressing well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in conformity with Islam now. So I think the issue of modesty, should not be left alone to the imams in the mosque and the Muslim scholars. It is an issue that cuts across everybody in the society. As a preacher, we need to preach this aspect of our religion. Is very important. As a teacher in the school, we need to teach the children modesty, how they can imbibe it in their lives. Even as far as telling them on the assembly is worthwhile. Then as parents in the society, we need to teach them at home. That's the aspect of modesty. Because if you look at the society today, it is a lost character among even the adults and the young ones. Modesty is lost, especially among women, the female. A lot of vices in the society, a lot of societal challenges are caused by this aspect of our life, modesty. Why? Because there is no truthfulness. A modest person will never tell lie. No matter what the situation is, will remain truthful. But today you hear people doing all sorts of fraud, all because they are not modest. They don't care. Prophet ﷺ said, if you are not ashamed, you are not ashamed of what you are doing, then you can continue to do what you like. That means somebody that is not ashamed, somebody that is not conscious of modesty can do anything and we think he will go away with it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is coming back to ask us, and we are all accountable to Him. And that is why it is very important that in our society today, this aspect of our life should be revived. We need everybody to stand up and talk about this issue every now and then. Even on our social media, let people talk about it, the word modesty. That is the only way we can change our society, we can reform the society. When there is modesty, you have all aspects of good. You have all virtues that we have been talking about, you have it. It is very necessary that we come back and talk about modesty. To round it up, there are some areas that I want us to focus on, especially during this Ramadan. Firstly is that our area of righteousness, our spirituality, spiritual development. The month of Ramadan has come to train us. Our tahajjud, our act of sadaqah, our salats, regular salats. Make sure that you don't tell lie. You say what is good at all times. Be good to your neighbors and everybody, every acquaintance that comes your way. Make sure you are good to them. By this, you spread the character. It is not everybody that will come and learn from us. Some people, they tap from what we are doing. Say, that woman, she's a very nice woman, and they continue from there. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the world, accept this from us as an act of ibadah, and may He make us an image of Al-Jannah Firdaus, and at the end of the day, may He help us to revive the society. The modesty we are clamoring for, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for each and every one of us. In هذه تذكرة فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه سبيلا. أقول قولي هذا استغفر الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
That is for Deen al-Islam, religion with Allah since time began. That is for dhikr, remembering Allah, and Ra is for the month of Ramadan. Oh, Ramadan. Za is for zakah, to cure our greed when we give our money to those in need. Sa is for salamun alaykum, peace be with you, wa alaykum salam.